What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football. And I'm here with my guy, Mr. Kyle Yacey.
Let's
What up,
go. Let's
Kyle?
go. Sean, man, it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. I'm
Yes,
glad we finally got together. We can finally talk again, bro. Fuck. Excuse my language.
absolutely. Oh, you're good. Oh, you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
okay.
No, absolutely, man. Hey, and we had to come back together on this day of days, us playing in this what seems to be an annual battle. We played like what the last 3 years?
Yeah, it's been insane actually. And for whatever reason, the Commanders are 3-0 against
Let's go.
us, man.
Let's
It's
go.
nuts. Like, I don't understand. You guys have our number. It's just what it is. Like,
Hey,
but I don't
hey.
know. This week's a little bit of a different story, right? 24-16. Again, I'm not trying to speak for you, Sean, but I think there was errors on both ends the whole entire game. I don't know. Do you want to touch on it first?
No, absolutely, man. Look, this far be it from me to sit here and come out and be hooting and hollering because I was
Yeah,
talking to you during the game. I was talking to Washington fans. There were so many things in this game where I'm just like, what are y'all doing? I mean, you
yeah.
get up 24-10, and then it just looks like we're trying to kneel, like we're trying to run. We're not doing anything successful. Sam, God bless your soul. I love you. We'll talk about the quarterbacks later, but you got to get rid of the ball. You can't,
Yeah.
man. You're running into sacks by these guys, and then when I look at you guys, I'm like, you guys are flipping torching us. You guys, we can't stop you guys in the air, and yet you keep trying to
Oh,
run the ball. And then when the running game gets going, then you try to pass the ball. So it's like nobody won in this one. How did you see it?
yeah, I don't understand it either. Like, Bijan Robinson being the weapon that he is, like, I definitely understand it that they want to try and give him the ball. But, like, I don't know. I would take a clue that, after you're trying to run him on the first down for the last, 4 or 5 drives that he had, like,
Right.
the first down, or he was trying to go for the first down. Like, he's getting stopped, like, 2 yards, man. So I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, okay, like, this isn't working. Like, why are we trying to repeat ourselves, right? It is the definition of insanity. You're trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And, like, the thing is Washington's defensive line with Payne and what is it? Payne, Fuller,
Allen,
um,
Payne, Allen,
St. Jude is
Young,
on there
Sweat,
too. Oh,
Sweat.
Sweat. Okay,
Yeah,
all those guys, man. They're big guys, man. Like,
yeah,
they
yeah.
hit hard, so you're not going to try and run through them. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. That, as well as the couple time clock violations where Atlanta couldn't get the ball out.
Right.
And the thing is, at the start of me looking at that, I was like, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, it's Desmond Ridder not being able to go and throw the ball. Like, maybe it's something like that. But I don't know. Looking at the sidelines, it was clearly evident that he wasn't getting the call to him in time from Arthur Smith, right? So
Right.
I don't know. It's really tough. Up to this point, I know I haven't got a chance to talk to you about the other 3 games, right? Um, Desmond Ridder has been subpar, and, like, that's great. Like, I'll be honest, it's definitely a step up from Mariota, which isn't saying too much in my opinion. But um, just looking at how everything's going, I don't know. It's just clearly evident that there needs to be some head office changes and some coaching changes. I'm thinking for sure.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, now, and that's the thing, because it's like coming into this game, you guys are 3-2.
yeah,
So is that? I mean, this is one of those losses where if you're looking at it from your perspective, it's like, yeah, he definitely needs to go, and he doesn't even look like he knows what's going on. Because to your
no,
point, you can't have those 3 times where you're, and then one time, the last one, it was coming out of a timeout, and you still are letting the clock run down. Like, that's 25 seconds. What are you doing? And they're
yeah.
not getting the calls in.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? You look at our schedule as a whole right now, and I believe it that we have, I think, the second or third easiest schedule in the whole entire NFL, right? So, like, this is just setting up for the Falcons to go and win the division. But at the same time, when crucial plays like that happen, where, like, we're on the 2 yard line and we have a time clock violation, then we're going back 5 yards. It's like, okay, well, no, now you're planning on running it. You can't do that. That's not an option, right?
Right.
And
Right.
the couple questionable calls as well, going for it on fourth down. I like the ballsiness of it for sure. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I like that he's not sticking with the safe side, but you got to use your head a little bit, right? I'm like, why were you trying to go for a 2-point conversion right now? I would have kicked it, done the safe thing, have it a
Right.
7-point game, and then at that point being like, okay, like, are we going to go for a touchdown? Are we going to kick it? Are we going to tie it? Maybe we can get into field goal range, right? For, like, that last win. But it wasn't like that. And I don't know. To me right now, it's clearly evident that Arthur Smith is not the guy. I do like some of the things that the Atlanta Falcons have done. I do like Ryan Nielsen running the defensive line. It's clearly helped.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
clearly made moves to the point where we're
Yo,
a top.
hey, real quick. I was
What's up?
looking at this and I was going to send this to the WWE chat, and I just saw Ben jumped in the comments. Your
Yeah.
defensive coordinator looks like the guy in WWE that he started that feud with the Miz.
Oh
He
my
has
God.
the mustache and the gloves.
I know
What is
Dexter
his
Loomis.
name?
Dexter
Yeah,
Loomis,
yeah.
right?
I was like, wait, is that him? I was like,
No.
oh, I love this guy.
Oh, God. He does look like him, actually. I think that's hilarious.
Yo, my bad. Go ahead.
No, yeah. That's all I was gonna say, man. Is like I can't remember who our offensive coordinator is. I want to say it's like something Rigoni, Drew Magoni. I want to say his name is, and then Arthur Smith. I just think they both need to go, man. Like I do like what Terry Fontenot's doing, and I think he deserves to be there. I do like what Ryan Nielsen's doing, and it's funny because they're both previous Saints. It's like, okay, I actually like the Saints coaching staff, and that hurts a little bit, but you've seen significant improvements, and I don't know, like there was some hesitation for sure with Arthur Smith coming from Tennessee, doing what he did, and him not excelling where he was, right, heavily relying on Derrick Henry. And yeah, sure, there is some comparisons with Bijan Robinson to Derrick Henry, but like people know your scheme, man. Like that's just the reality of it, right? So this isn't working in this organization. You're washed up and you need to go. It's simple as that. And Desmond Ridder, it's tough because I don't know. I don't think he's the guy. I think he's doing well with it being his first full season, and him basically having all these weapons too. Like it's hard not to win some games, but we're not talking about an elite quarterback here. We're not talking about on the level of Patrick Mahomes. We're not talking about Lamar Jackson. We're not talking about Joe Burrow. We're not talking about even all like Josh Allen. All these guys. Like we're not going to compete with these teams. Like sure, we can beat these mid-level teams, and Sean, you know that as well, right? Like
Yep.
I don't like. There's elite players on our teams, but we're not competing with these elite teams. Right. That's just the reality of it, right? So.
Yeah. And it's not like you're out of it. Like your defense is playing great. Like at different times, your defense steps up. Y'all shut down our run so much so that we had to rely on the pass. And a lot of times, a lot of those sacks that, hey, I'll be the first one to say Sam holds on to the ball too long. But a lot of those sacks were coverage sacks. Terrell was taking out Terry McLaurin. Your linebackers were taking out our running backs. You know what I mean? But I have to go back to your coaching because Bijan Robinson was a top 10 pick, and the man got 13 carries for 30, almost just 37 yards. Like, what? You got to feed him. We came into this game saying we need to stop him, and maybe we did do that, but y'all didn't give him enough carries, in my opinion.
I like it, but I think part of it was we were just getting shut down too. That's the way I was seeing it. And like I think maybe what the difference would have been is rather than giving him on the blue line, right, give him a reception, right? And I found that worked the best against Washington is when you don't give him directly the ball and you make a pass to Bijan Robinson. That's when he was exploding. That's when he was breaking out, right? And I don't know, like me not being a coach or like anywhere near an NFL expert, right? It was clear today to see that, right? Yeah. So why we weren't doing more of that, why we weren't doing more of what we were succeeding with, that's what I don't understand, right?
Yeah. And look, I'm gonna real quick talk about Johnny said ATL should have won that game. Good QB and a coach would have pulled that out. Honestly, I don't even look. I don't know. I mean, I see all the hatred towards Ridder. I see all the hatred that they levied towards Mariota in the last couple of years. And that's why I look at your guys, your star key players. I look at them a lot better because the thing about it is it's not just Ridder, but it's also your coaches that are stunting these players. They're not giving them the opportunities to be good. You know what I mean? It's frustrating to watch.
Well, even look at Kyle Pitts, right? Yeah. Kyle Pitts probably had the biggest breakout game like so far in his career. This game was his game. But the
Yep.
thing is, where everybody's saying, oh, Kyle Pitts is a bust. You know what? I don't think he's a bust, and I don't think he will continue to be a bust, but I don't think he will ever now reach that elite level, unfortunately. Just looking at, his injury that he had last season after he played Chicago, right? Him coming off of an ACL injury, seeing him catch that reception, I can't remember. I think it was in the third, and him trying to break out and run. The guy can't run right now, man. And that's the thing, is he's still healing. And the thing is it's hit or miss if you come back from an ACL injury. Like it's tough, right?
Yeah.
Is he still going to be good? Is he going to be, a highly sought out, tight end? Sure. You know what I mean? Is he now going to be in the talks of being elite, like Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Kittle, right? Like, I don't know, man. That's tough. That's tough. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take for him to heal. Everybody's saying maybe one more year for him to heal off of that,
but still, you gotta still flip this conversation to the fact that he's doing everything he can. But if the offense is not geared toward him, A, and then B, you got come on, I'm sorry, Mariota and now with Ritter, these guys are poor excuses for quarterbacks right now. And when I say that, I don't mean it as a detriment to them. I'm not trying to speak ill of them, but their play has left us all wanting, like scratching your head, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And how can we honestly say that Pitts is awful and he's all this if that's who he's had throwing to him? I mean, you got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, man. That's how I feel.
No, I totally agree. And you know what? We can even compare it to like Christian McCaffrey being in, Carolina, right? You looked at what was happening with Christian McCaffrey. He was always a top like running back, like the guy when he was healthy, he was great. But Carolina, they abused him, right? They give him the ball every single play, pretty much, right? And actually, to a point where they weren't even using DJ Moore as much as they should have been, right?
Yeah.
And surely enough, right? Christian McCaffrey was injured pretty much every season that he was with the Carolina Panthers. You trade him over to the San Francisco 49ers, where, there's multiple weapons. It's a way better system. The defensive line, offensive line are all great, right? You got Deebo Samuel, right? You got, oh my God, I can't think of his name, Brandon Ayuk, right? And even Brock Purdy at the time, Jimmy Garoppolo, like, he's got a way better system there, and now he's excelling, right? So, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, you're going to need one of these quarterbacks, or you're going to need a better quarterback that, has the potential to become elite to go into a system like that. We've been building weapons. We have Kyle Pitts. We have Drake London, right? Cordell Patterson is still there, even though he's not being utilized that much. Tyler Algier, right?
Yeah.
We have all these players now that, are the making of a great team. Our defensive line is looking a lot better. But truth of the matter is, and this is the tough part, even with Atlanta being 500 right now, I don't know what's going to happen because, looking at the quarterbacks that are going to be in this next draft, right? They all look really good. Probably the best I've seen in a really long time. Even I think, in my opinion, far better than the Trevor Lawrence draft as well, with Justin Fields and all them, right? So I don't know. It's tough to say, but the issue with that is, what move are you going to make to move up and get one of these quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Because we're not the only team that needs a quarterback. Hell, Sean, look at your team. Washington's going to be going for a quarterback, right?
Listen. We just won a game today.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not even gonna. I'm just joking. Like, I'm not even. We didn't want to win that. We pushed that one away. We weren't trying to get it done, and it does beg that question because Sam is holding the ball too long. Sam is struggling a lot. Now, our O-line is awful. I mean, with the exception of like Sam Cosmi, the rest of our guys have been struggling this year. So, right now we're 3-3, we're 500, and thankfully so. But you guys were probably the toughest win we have. We beat the Broncos and we beat the Cardinals, both of which would be in competition with us for that pick, or one of the two. You got Drake May and you got Caleb Williams. So, I mean, I always want my North Carolina guy. You know how I feel about that. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know, man. Because even if you bring in another guy, at least for us, if you can't protect him, what good is that going to do? You're just going to get him killed like the previous guy.
So you're kind of like, correct me if I'm wrong. Then you're on the mindset then that, even though a QB is in need as of right now, maybe you run with Sam Howell and you bolster up that offensive line, and then
Yes.
once you're a lot
Yeah.
more confident, where you're like, hey, like we can protect our guy, right?
Yeah.
Then at
Yeah.
that point, we can see what quarterbacks are available like on the field.
Right.
Would it be out of the realm of possibilities to have a reunion with Kirk Cousins in Washington?
Oh my God. Somebody else said that. Somebody else said, why don't you bring Kirk Cousins back? Look, I don't think Kirk wants to come back, to be quite honest with you. It would have to be some magic, like
Yeah.
Magic Johnson, maybe,
Oh
that reached out to him to
God.
bring it back. But I don't think it's gonna happen. But look, hey, to your point, Ben said it. Also, remember, guys, Arthur Smith was on Vrabel's staff in Tennessee, so his offense scheme is very vanilla. Yeah,
Yep.
and he had Derrick Henry out there. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
So
Well, that's what I mean. Like, so that's the thing, though, is if Arthur Smith, well, Arthur Smith isn't the guy. Like, I'm not going to explore that possibility. He's not the head coach we need. He's not going to bring us to a Super Bowl. I'm just going to state that right now. But who fills that role though? And that's my question, right? Who comes in then and is a better option? For Atlanta. Like I know there's been talks of, if Atlanta signs Deion Sanders' sons, right? Like maybe Deion Sanders will leave Colorado and then come over to Atlanta. But
right?
like we're really stretching this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're really
yeah.
stretching this at that point. And like, is he really going to have the same effect that he has over there in Atlanta? Because I don't see it. I don't know. But who else is on the hot table? That's the thing. Like, I know. Is Mike Vrabel? I can't say his name. Oh my god. Still in Tennessee? Is he still on the hot seat?
Well, I mean, he lost today. He lost today overseas. Mind you,
Yep.
playing the Baltimore Ravens, but they
Yep.
had opportunities to win that one. Now, shout out to Ryan Tannehill. He left the game. They had to cart him off. I didn't know.
Oh,
Maybe if you
really?
guys in the comments know, yeah, what happened. But
Brutal.
yeah, but the Ravens team got that W. But yeah, it hasn't looked great for him. I mean, he's got a couple surprising victories. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you don't make it to the playoffs, he could be out.
Well, even like Denver Broncos too, with Sean Payton. Everybody's like, "Oh, Sean Payton's not the guy." Like, you all need to settle down. He's working with what he has right now. There's not a lot in Denver like that's going well on that team right now. Let's just be honest.
Oh wow! Shout out to Andrew saying Falcons will have fun picking their quarter QB in the next draft.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is because like even if you got to look at some of the like the bad teams right now, right? Like you look at Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago more than likely is lined up right now to pick Caleb Williams. Okay, like I don't know if they're gonna do a trade with Justin Fields and send him somewhere else, but like Caleb Williams, you may as well just say is off the board.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Okay, so it leaves you with what? Quinn Ewers, Drake May, and there's one more too, isn't there?
Michael Penix Jr.
Yep.
From Washington.
Okay.
I know Bo Nix is
Spencer Rattler,
Spencer,
but he's
Sam
not.
So there's a couple guys.
But Spencer Rattler, I don't think is in the category of.
Right.
Oh yeah, Bo Nix. I forgot about Bo Nix. That's right.
Yeah.
But even then, that's the thing is like, are these quarterbacks going to be elite? Right. I don't know. It's really tough to say. I think there's got to be a trade if Atlanta's going to want their quarterback. I think they're going to have to trade up. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. Like I see Carolina's fine with what they have right now, but you're going to see Chicago going for it right now. You're going to see probably Minnesota going for a quarterback right now. You potentially are going to see the New York Jets going for a quarterback now, right? If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, you could see the New England Patriots going for their guy. Like there's so many teams that are in that spot right now. Well, actually, even Pittsburgh, the Steelers as well, right? Kenny Pickett's not looking much better either.
Well, let's sit there right quick. We know we got family that is all about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and no disrespect to them. I mean, maybe you feel a little differently, but I mean, we got to really call it what it is. Like I watched him in college, and I thought he was a gutsy, great quarterback, but he has not impressed me in these couple years that he's been in the league.
Yeah, see, and you know what? I'm not going to sit here and try and talk about Pittsburgh Steelers stats because I haven't watched a whole bunch of their games. I'll be completely honest. But from what I do know and from what I have heard from Steelers fans, he's not the guy. And he's not doing what everybody thought he was going to do. And especially considering the team that is around Pittsburgh right now, like they are winning. I think they're still technically in the wild card spot, right? But regardless, yeah, it's let's call it what
Andrew,
it
yep.
is. He's in the category of Desmond Ritter and Sam Howell, whether people want to believe it or not. Like we're that's not far fetched. It's not a hot take.
I think we have to ask this question: when is it too soon to call it could be a bust? We look at Justin Fields and we're like, yes, oh my God, up in the draft and everything, and he has disappointed. You look at Sam Howell, who's been really gutsy and this and that, but he has his issues. Who can he pick it? Mr. Small Hands, who we loved, but yes, we were gaslit a little bit. Who can, when can you say these guys are busts? Because they've been struggling. Zach Wilson.
I don't know. It depends, though, in my opinion. Like you got to, I think it's dependent. There's a lot of factors that play into this, right? You got to look at the team. You got to look at the coaching, right? Yeah. And honestly, time's a big thing as well, right? And just how soon a team is going to use that quarterback. In my opinion, I don't think Justin Fields is a bust. I actually think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. The stats that the guy's been pulling out, regardless of him being on Chicago, have been awesome. I just think that he might not be the right fit in Chicago. So I wouldn't necessarily call him a bust yet. I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Typically, what you want for a quarterback is you want him to sit for at least a year. You want him to kind of get that veteran experience and that practice.
The best scenario.
Yeah. And, have him sit for a year, kind of understand the play calling, understand what works, what doesn't work, right? Really kind of wrap his head around what the game is. Because, college is a very different game than the NFL, right?
Right.
So I think, in my opinion, if you have a quarterback that is on his second starting year and he isn't, giving you a plus 500, in my opinion. And again, this is also to the, the mercy of what your schedule is like too. Which is completely random, then at that point, he's not the guy and you need to move on, right? Because your rookie deals, you're usually looking at 3 years?
Yep. About five. Yeah, because the fourth, you can get that fifth year option. Yeah. So, but mainly after 3 is when you start to know, if you got to go into year 4 and year 5 and it's still in question, then maybe you already know what's going on.
In the case of Washington and Atlanta, I would have definitely going into my next year, knowing that Desmond Ritter has and Sam Howell have a year or two, I would start looking for a quarterback. If you have a gut feeling that he's not the guy, because if you have a gut feeling now that he's not the guy, then he's probably not the guy.
Right. And see, I think with us in Washington, you have EB that just came in here. You know what I mean? So we already have the established Ron Rivera, Jack Del Rio on defense, things like that. But you have EB here, and, there's rumors that he's going to be the next head coach, whatever, what have you. I'm not going to buy and feed into any of that because I need to see him as an offensive coordinator. What I've seen, I liked. And to be honest, EB is coming in here trying to get out from under the shadow of Andy Reid. Because everybody says Andy was the guy and you were just a play caller. You didn't even do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, and I hate that. I hate to hear that. So now seeing with us, if anybody needs to see what EB can do, Washington last year averaged about 17 to 19 points a game. This year, we've averaged between about 25 points a game. We've had 2 games with 20 or more and three or four with 30. So he's doing what he needs to do. But I just feel like you got to – at a certain point, you got to give a guy a chance. Maybe for you had him for a while. But with Sam, I think they got to stick with him and just let him work. Let him see what he does. Let him make mistakes,
I agree. And you know what? The thing is, too, is if you look at Washington even as a whole, where's your defensive line or offensive line on age? Do you have any guys that are about to leave?
So we right now are 2 main guys on the interior line, Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. We already paid them. Montez Sweat and Chase Young are coming up for a paycheck. Montez, he's looking, the way he's been playing, he's already got 4.5 sacks thus far this year. He's definitely looking like he's trending up to get that paycheck. On the other side, Chase Young, it's struggling. He's been, since the injury, it's just he has not looked like what he once was. On our O-line, it's mix and match, man. We got an old guy. We got a couple young guys. We got a couple free agents. Some retread from the Chiefs that's struggling, Andrew Wiley. So we got a lot that we need to fix. But that's really mainly our focus, and that's another reason why I don't necessarily want to get a quarterback in the draft, because let's work on the trenches, and then we can build up.
See, I agree. And the only reason why I bring that up is you look at our defensive line right now. Like, our defensive line has gotten a lot better, especially with Oniata, and then as well, oh my God, Caden Ellis, right? Like, these were great signings from New Orleans. But then you look at, Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett doesn't have many years behind him anymore. Like, Grady Jarrett is on his way out right away. And Calais Campbell, like, yeah, sure, it was great that we got him. That's a 1-year thing, man. Like, we're not going to have him again. So we're going to have a big hole in our pass rushers, right? So that's going to be the struggle that I don't want to have to deal with, right? So the thing is maybe we do run with Desmond Ridder for one more year, but then if we're doing that, I highly like think that we're going to be going after like defensive edge rushers, right? We're going to have to. So I don't know. It's really tough to see, but it's tough because on the other side, and I play devil's advocate a lot with what I'm saying, you have a quarterback pool like this. Do you let it slide? And do you hope that, the next few years are going to have as good of quarterbacks? I know everybody talks about Arch Manning, and, Arch Manning's just entering the college pool and stuff. Let's settle down.
Our breaks on Arch, but there are a number of guys out there.
But besides that, don't get me wrong, there's going to be quarterbacks every year that are going to come up and look great. But this quarterback pool is looking the best I've seen in years.
Yeah, and look, there's no harm in looking. There's no harm in working guys out, because at the very least, what that tells your quarterback. Well, first and foremost, in your situation, we don't know. Actually, matter of fact, in our situation too, we don't know if our head coaches are going to be here next year. So when we're talking about the draft of next year, we don't know if it's going to be this coach in the draft room or is it going to be the next coach in the draft room. And we don't know, if the next coach might want his guy. He might want to go pull his guy and this like that. So we don't know that. That's the different side of the game that has no effect on Desmond's, play. I want to look at some of these comments real quick. Nathan, what's going on, Nathan? He said, other than Drake London and Bijan, who else can change the game offensively?
Oh, easy. Okay. Wow. Tyler Algier for sure. Kyle Pitts can still change the game. And both those guys alone are better offensive weapons than a whole bunch of teams. So realistically, to kind of add to your thing, I would like another wide receiver in my opinion. I haven't liked what Matt Collins has produced on the offensive line. I also think at the same time we also need a better right tackle. I don't like Caleb McGarry in that role. I really don't. But you look at Jake Matthews. Jake Matthews has been great with us, right, as a left tackle. So it's tough. Our offensive line has improved, but just like with any other team, there's still areas of opportunity, in my opinion. So,
Johnny said, what's your cap space looking like?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I know we spent a lot of it in the off season. Do you have cap friendly up, Sean?
I will look it up real quick. Nathan said, their system isn't what fix Desmond Ridder, in my opinion. I think he means that the system is that helping him to struggle. Is that what he's saying? Let me see. I have a question. When do we start holding the front office accountable?
100%. And that's where we're at, Nathan. We're holding the front office accountable right now, right? I know everybody's saying, Arthur Blank has a lot of saying, what he does for his team and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, he just lets them fly, right? Terry Fontenette too, him coming in, you can see he's made massive improvements, right? I personally think that our issue right now is the head coach and is the offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator is a little bit dicey, but the head coach calls have been, it's been pretty obvious that they've been pretty bad. So,
I do not have that one right now. Johnny, if you can look that up. Let me know what the cap space is for Atlanta.
I know we spent a lot of it. We spent a whole ton of it in this offseason, and that's why we've improved. But
Atlanta and Desmond don't mesh. You know what? I don't know, man, because I really felt like with the offense that you guys have had, we've all talked about Arthur Smith when he came over from Tennessee and that run-heavy offense over there. That's what he's trying to do with Desmond Ridder. Now, if you look about him in Cincinnati, he had more of a balance, more of a pro-style offense. So maybe he's not used to this, but that's what Mariota ran last year. So, is it a system, a QB system fix? Is this what it is, a mesh? They don't mesh?
Well, this is kind of where I was thinking. Like I was comparing even Desmond Ridder to, Pittsburgh, right? You look at the Steelers and you look at Kenny Pickett. Like we all know that Mike Tomlin is a top 5 coach. Like it's no question about it, right? So with Mike Tomlin's coaching, right? And Kenny Pickett going into that system where they have Najee Harris and what is it, Deontay Banks, correct?
No,
right? Yeah.
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, like these awesome wide receivers, right? And running backs, like it's a plug and play system, especially when you have TJ Watt in that system, right? Like,
defense,
yeah. So the thing is, you throw a quarterback in there, they should be able to excel for the most part, right? Desmond Ridder going into, Atlanta, which was a system that wasn't doing great. It's tough because, Arthur Smith, the question with him being washed up or not, right? I would like to see another head coach come in and see what Desmond Ridder can do. And then at that point, I can make my decision. And that's why I categorize even Pickett and Ridder in the same category, because Tomlin being in that system in Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett should excel.
Right.
In my opinion. Right.
Right.
So.
Right. And I've heard people say, oh, well, it's the offensive coordinator and yada, yada. Well, then you're the head coach. You need to take him out.
Yeah.
You need to take over the play calls. I mean, I just feel like that is where
Canada has been bad though. Like Canada has been really bad.
You're right.
So
You're right.
I'm not trying to take that away either.
Yeah, they were chanting "Fire Matt Canada" at the Penguins games. You know what I mean? So they all wanted him out. All right. So and we'll see what happens with that. But the same thing goes in Washington, man. Like, I mean, the fans obviously they're gonna want who they want out, and it's not always great, but
Rivera is on his way out though. Like he's probably on the hottest seat, man.
I don't even think he's sitting down anymore. I'm gonna put it to you like that. Okay, the seat is too hot. He's not even gonna try to sit down. I'm just gonna wait it out on my feet. But I mean, it's so hard when I think of Rivera, man, because you have that year in 2020 where he beats cancer, and we're 1-7 to start, and somehow we make the playoffs, and everything is great. But the fact of the matter is, each year we start off like we did, 1-4, 2-4. And then it takes to like October, November, where we start winning games. The last couple of years has been against you guys when we started that trend.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not fun to watch. It's heart-wrenching to watch. I'm yelling at the TV all daggone day. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating, but it's that time, man. I think it's safe to say neither of us will have the same coaches come 2024.
I like it. Yeah, 74.5 million. So there's a lot you can still do with that. That's pretty awesome. I thought it was a lot less than that. 68.4 million projected for the 24th season. See, that's a lot of money. In my opinion, I'm spending most of that on defense. I'm telling you right now, I'm spending most of that on, new edge rushers for sure. Right. Whoever's going to be a free agent. And then, I don't know, maybe see in this scenario, maybe it wouldn't be bad for Atlanta to go for Kirk Cousins. That actually wouldn't be a bad fit, or getting Justin Fields, right? Yeah. You plug any, like one of those quarterbacks in there, it might be a better system, but like it doesn't negate the fact that Arthur Smith has to go. Like this is all tentative on getting a new coach for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hey, look, this was fun.
Love it.
I'm glad we could both speak cordially after 3-0 against you, man.
You know what, man? Take it. You know what? Here's the thing: an ugly W is still a W, bud.
There it is. I'll take it. Right. Yo, but I look forward to the day when you and I could catch a game live.
Oh really, man, I know, absolutely. Man. It's definitely it's not even on the bucket list. It's on something that's gonna happen. So
absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right, bro.
Yo, hey, real quick, NFC South takeover.
Yeah. So all right. So I'll spill the beans right now for everybody that is still watching. NFC South takeover will be airing sometime this upcoming week as episode 1, and we will be going back and doing it weekly on the Let's Talk Football channel. So definitely tune in. I know we're a little bit late. We're going into week 7, I think, right?
Better late than never.
But exactly, better late than never. And we'll get to talk, Sean's second team, his closet team, his Carolina Panthers, and how atrocious they're doing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just Sean picking teams that just lose. I don't know. Maybe he's just an underdog kind of. He's an underdog fan, right?
Look, speaking about that number 1 pick, We got it right here. We're taking trades. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Okay, I love it. But yeah, we'll definitely be touching base with that next week, man. So I'm excited to be back.
Let's go. I love it, man. Hey, for my guy, Kyle Yacey, you know it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer. Appreciate y'all watching. At the end of the day, we said it. Washington beat Atlanta 24-16.
Yeah.
But it wasn't pretty.
Nope.
It wasn't pretty.
All right, well,
hey, we're out, people. Peace.